welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be discussing a recent fashion scandal. The brand Selkie, known for their beautiful, whimsical, puffy dresses, has come under fire for using AI art in their most recent Valentine's Day collection. Now, I actually personally love Selkie. I don't have one myself because they're so expensive, especially in Canadian dollars, but they are stunning, and I have to say, if I was rich, I would own like 100 of these dresses already. So this whole scandal has been really disappointing to me, but that's kind of besides the point. Selkie is very known for their unique designs and just a very specific look. And they've also been praised in the past for being more size inclusive than most brands. I think a lot of their designs range up to like at least a 6X from what I've seen. And they pride themselves on being slow fashion and a small business. And they have such a well-known identifiable style that other brands like Temu, Shein, AliExpress, those type of websites will often try to duplicate and rip off their designs, which is honestly part of why it was so shocking for people to find out that Selkie was using AI in their most recent collection. So we'll start off with just a little bit about Selkie. This is their about section on their website, which I'll read of course as well. It says, fanciful, nostalgic, and extra romantic, meet Selkie by former Wild Fox co-founder Kimberly Gordon. This ready-to-wear collection is an imagination-driven brand and encourages artistic self-expression. Selkie offers a range of standout party dresses and after-party sweatsuits with timeless pieces size extra small to 5X. They are made to keep and pieces you will treasure forever. Selkie is a low-waste company producing a small inventory to test the success of items, then using pre-sale to predict how much to buy on popular styles for future rounds. This ensures no dangerous dumping or contribution to landfill. Each collection tells a story and presents a dreamy world through its imagery. And then it goes on kind of just to explain like what the brand Selkie means, where it comes from, the idea, all of that. But now I'll kind of get into a little bit more about AI in general and why it's so controversial for not only this brand, but for any brand to be using AI. So I want to quickly say I'm no expert on AI. My knowledge of AI and like why it's bad is definitely kind of limited. I've been doing a lot more research for this video and also just based on things I've heard online, people talking about. But I will say I know it's controversial for a few different reasons, but the main one and the biggest one being plagiarism. So AI can't actually create any new images. That is something to know, is that when you're creating a picture on AI, what it's doing is it's sampling hundreds, thousands, sometimes millions of designs in a style based on a prompt that you input or inspiration that you give, and it's kind of making an amalgamation of all those artists' work into one picture that is new, but it's not really new. It is just taken a bunch of people's art and put it all together. And a big issue, especially with something like Selkie using AI, is that is taking jobs from artists who could have been hired on to create the design, but instead their work and many others is sampled and put into an AI design. And it kind of takes the artist out of the equation, because why would you need to pay an artist if you can just go into a computer, write a prompt, and have the design made for you? And also, when speaking of AI, another issue that comes to my mind and many other people's mind is copyright and who actually owns the images that AI creates. And this is interesting to me because of course if it's sampling artists' work, their work is something they own, but when AI kind of takes it all and makes it something new, who actually owns that image, right? And according to this article I read, copyright only applies to original works by human creators, and apparently the Copyright Office will not approve works by a machine or mechanical process. I'll tag all the articles I mentioned down below in case you want to read up more. And this is from another article here that says, given the ongoing legal debate over image ownership rights, those who use generative AI for commercial purposes should understand that they may not have copyright protection over their works, even if they use skill and judgment in the formulation of text prompts to create them. Even worse for creators, they may be precluded in the terms of use of generative AI programs from having any ownership rights to the work they created. And that kind of leads me to a question in regards to Selkie's AI art collection. Could anyone then technically take that pattern and make their own collection? Obviously they couldn't use the style of dress because I'm sure Selkie has trademarked that, but could they not use that exact pattern and put it on a different article of clothing? So let's get into Selkie specifically using AI. How do we know they used AI for their collection? Well, they admitted it themselves on Instagram, and people were not happy about it. So I'm gonna play a video here from TikTok. I'll tag the creator down below because she made a couple different videos about this and we'll be reacting to those. But here is kind of an explanation of what happened.
By the way, just in case you missed this little tidbit of fashion news, Selkie, the brand, was caught using AI to generate some of their prints for their new collection. Selkie posted a preview of their Valentine's Day collection on their Instagram, featuring some really cute vintage-inspired prints of, you know, puppies and kitties and roses and all of the great things. But then a commenter asked, who is the artist, or is it AI art? To which they then said, these are all handmade mixed media collages utilizing vintage art, AI, and computer painting. And of course,
saying handmade and then saying computer painting, mixed media collages, using AI and vintage art that they took and put into the AI to generate something similar is pretty far off from handmade. I wouldn't say it's like completely the opposite of handmade, but it's pretty damn close to the complete opposite of handmade. Anyways.
Of course, backlash ensued because for a brand that claims to care so much about the environment and the artists that they work with, why on earth would they then choose to use AI? That's completely antithetical to everything they've said before. Well, this is their response. We understand that AI is controversial, and our founder has researched it immensely. She is also a painter, an artist, and loves the future of AI. While some do not agree, she believes it is something awesome to experiment with and an incredible tool for students, graphic designers, artists, small businesses, and alike. So, that's where we're at.
Okay, so like they said there, that Selkie feels like it could be a creative and helpful tool for graphic designers, students, etc. and so on. Small businesses. I don't know if personally I would consider Selkie a small business. I don't know the textbook definition of small business, but to me they seem pretty big. They sell for a really expensive cost. They're always selling out, hundreds of thousands of followers on Instagram, and they make millions a year. So I don't know if that technically counts as small business or not, but to me they definitely seem more of like a mid-sized to larger business at this point. Regardless, I digress. So that was kind of the beginning of it, and then it just got worse.
Oh, you're not ready for this, because there's more. So for context, these are strings of comments that were posted in a Facebook group that I'm in that is about Selkie. I assume the comments were left in part by the poster. But this is a conversation that they had with the founder of Selkie before she did a dirty delete. Luckily, they screenshotted it, obviously.
So just really quickly here, the account We Dream of Ice Cream is Kimberly, and she's the founder and creator of Selkie, so it's her brand. It's just not commented on the Selkie brand page. It's her personal Instagram, but that is her. We Dream of Ice Cream. So that, just so you know, in the screenshots, that's her.
I'm gonna read it out because some of the defenses that she has of AI is quite frankly appalling. Working your butt off on what? Pressing a button on an AI art app? God forbid you take the same dress and shirt designs and have to pay someone to make a print. You honestly make me sick. You've truly become what you claim to hate. You are only in this to make a buck and don't care about quality or your customers, never mind your artists that have stood behind you previously. She says, I am a fan of AI and always have been. Just because we have different opinions on the subject does not warrant being so rude. I think AI is an amazing tool, and as an artist, I'm going to utilize it to make some really fun art. I've been very open about the subject and post AI art often. I'm excited about AI in our future. Other people came in to say, you have not been open about it to your Selkie customers. We're learning today that you've used AI to make a print. You did not disclose in the post that the product uses AI. Someone had to ask to get the truth. You can play around with AI for personal art for all I care, but when you are using stolen art for profit, that's where I draw the line.
Okay, just want to quickly pause again. But me too. I think that's where I draw the line as well, because I like to play around with AI sometimes. I use ChatGPT to ask questions and stuff. But I think the big issue that comes into play here is that Selkie is a huge company with tons and tons of profit. They could easily afford to pay an artist, and instead they opted for a program which steals art. And again, if you're playing around with it and it's just for your own personal use, that's fine. To me, that's no different than like tracing someone else's art on your iPad just for fun, which I've definitely done that before. But I would never then go on to sell those as original pieces in a collection for profit. That should be obvious, you would think, but anyways.
I don't understand how someone who runs a company that had fantastic collabs with the Met Museum couldn't have found an artist to help you achieve your vision, either through commission or a collab. You're a small business owner. You know how hard it is to get your name and product out there. You could have helped an artist, maybe even changed their life. You have a reach and power, and it makes me sad to see you squander that by incorporating AI into your products. In response to that, she said, I totally understand where you're coming from. I know it's a controversial subject. I just disagree here. I think there are definitely major injustices in our current economy, but I feel like big businesses are already using AI, and as a woman small business owner who is a painter that happens to love AI, I think it's so much fun and want to make these prints. I think it's the future and an incredible tool, and I'm not mad at that. She is literally hiding behind being a woman-owned small business.
Sorry, I'm just kind of interjecting here. And also saying that big businesses are already doing it, so I might as well too. No, that's not how that works. Big businesses are doing a lot of crappy things, and that doesn't mean we should all do the same.
I'm a woman, so it's okay for me to use AI because everyone else is doing it. It's the exact same consumer brain rot, that American individualism that is coming back again and again. But it's so appalling to see it specifically from a brand that claims to care so much about the environment and about artists. It's a shame because I love your dress designs, they said in response. You're so fun, flamboyant, and unique, and I think that's why people are upset. Using AI kind of kills that uniqueness while hurting creatives. I bet you would feel awful if someone ripped your designs apart and then put them together like Frankenstein's monster for profit. Also, I'm sorry, if I don't read a part out, it's because literally the recording button is blocking it off. These are a couple of responses to that initial Selkie like PR garbage reply that I read out in the post before. You can use AI as a reference, but you're a painter, but one of the dogs has 8 toes in one print and 4 eyes in another. At the very least, you should address your dishonesty with not disclosing that you used AI for these prints. The artist community overwhelmingly condemns AI as unethical. You should at the bare minimum give customers customers the knowledge to choose to not pay you hundreds of dollars for a design that it's at least partially ripped off from someone else's work. This is something I also wanted to touch on because a couple of comments were along the lines of like, well, they weren't caught, they admitted to it. And it's like, if they had to be asked and then provided the information, then they were caught. At least they were honest about it. But at that point, when you're posting hints of dogs that have 4 eyes and 6 toes, it would have gotten so much worse for them if they tried to lie about that. It was pretty obvious that it was AI.
Just to touch on that point as well, not only is it like, yeah, at least they were honest when they were asked about it, but the thing is then you're also relying on people who are interested in buying this collection. In order for them to get the full truth of the picture, they have to see the Instagram post and then see the comment and hopefully find that when it should be made very obvious. And I think that's what a lot of people are saying here. It's not so much that they lied and said it wasn't AI, like they did admit that it was AI, but you still can't say that you've been forthright with your consumer when that's not in the description on the website. It's not anywhere listed there. They just replied to an Instagram comment. I mean, not everyone who shops on their website is even going to have Instagram.
Anyway, here are some additional responses in regards to the creator being like, I'm a woman, so it's okay. This one is fucking crazy. She goes, absolutely, to work against other women in your field is not only hypocrisy, but makes you morally bankrupt. Using AI directly takes jobs and money away from the people you claim not only to support, but be a part of. She goes, I understand, I really do. I just disagree here, and I feel that all people stand to gain from it. I am using it along with paying many other real women, and AI, I use it because I find it amazing. It's so hard to decide what I will and will not support. We all use phones mined with cobalt by children. We pick and choose our justices in this crazy world. I feel different to you about AI. I don't think it is an injustice. I don't think real art will be crushed by AI. I think they are both here to stay, and as an artist, I think it's an awesome tool to help me in my business. I don't know about you, but I'm so fucking sick of the all or nothing mindset when it comes to environmentalism and saying it's okay for me as a woman-owned small business to use AI because we all use phones with cobalt mined by children. You are producing new artwork made with AI. That is an active choice that you make. A phone is something that most people need to function in society, and it's not like people are buying 15 new phones all the damn time. Your average person gets a phone and uses it for years, or they get a phone that's refurbished. It's such a crazy comparison. It is just deflection after deflection after deflection in her replies. Sydney.
Oh my god, my hair, what the fuck? Also, much like they're saying here, and kind of just to add on top of that point, but no one is okay with their phone coming from those unethical sources. No one is okay with children being in mines to provide us with phones. Like, no one is saying, well, that's fine, so yeah, AI is fine too. Like, again, it is kind of that all or nothing mindset, but it's like, just because that's happening doesn't make anything lesser than okay. Like, that's just not how that works. And it definitely is a deflection because it feels like she's saying, well, you know, you have a phone that comes from this unethical source, so why is this what you care about? But like, people can care about multiple things at once, and it's not a hall pass to do anything that is less bad than children mining cobalt for phones. I hope I'm making sense here. I don't know if I am, but I'm sure you guys get what I mean. Like, something else being worse doesn't make anything that's less bad than that okay to do. Anyways.
The Resilient asks, may I ask what in your opinion makes using AI art for profit different than another company making dupes of your designs? For me, there's no difference between dupes and using AI art for profit. Both use stolen works and ideas to make money without giving the original creator the credit and money that they deserve. I want to understand where you're coming from because I truly do not get it. She goes, thanks for your interest. There are a few reasons I stand behind it. The first being that I'm a woman with a small business, and the AI train is not going to stop because I'm not on it. It is only going to grow, and I think it's smart to move with the future in technology. See how shallow all of this is? She goes, the second reason is because AI uses billions of images to create an image. My own art is included in that. I've been making art public and having it stolen for 15 years, and I have to overcome that by stealing other people's art? As a woman artist, utilizing this tool is in its own way my rebellion against AI. Use it because it's mine and it is yours too. This reads as to me just a list of deflections. The same kinds of deflections that like a second grader would use if you accused them of like stealing a cookie out of the cookie jar and they for sure did it. And they're like, well, someone else was gonna eat that cookie if I didn't. Besides, I'm just a little girl. I'm just a girl second grader, and it's in my way eating this cookie is my rebellion against eating cookies. She goes, that doesn't really...
Yeah, so, and as the commenter's gonna say, that doesn't really answer the question. The question was, how does this differ from other companies ripping off your designs and making dupes? And Selkie just says, well, other people are using AI, so I'm gonna use AI. Okay, but you're not okay with people stealing your design and making dupes. How are you okay then with using art that's stolen off other people's art? It still doesn't answer the question at all. And her saying it's my rebellion against using AI to use AI is again just completely not the right mindset to have. Like Lucky Frog Shop here is saying, it's just deflection after deflection. None of the actual points people are making are being addressed because she doesn't have an answer. There is no answer to that. You can't be against people making dupes of your products, but then be fine with ripping off other people's art, because that's literally the same thing. You're making a dupe of their art.
Doesn't really answer my question as to what the difference between using AI and someone selling a dupe of one of your dresses is. Are you saying that makes it okay to do? And she just goes, I disagree. I'm an artist and I deserve a voice in the conversation. I also am utilizing a tool and I do not agree that this is harming artists. But you just said that AI steals your art and that your art being stolen is a problem. We don't share the same opinion, but I respect yours. The commenter goes in response, I write for a living. Do you know how many writing jobs have been slashed due to AI? AI absolutely harms artists. It harms people, especially women. People have created deepfake using AI. How many women's lives will be impacted by someone using their image for something that they did not consent for it to be used for? And she's like, yeah, of course there definitely need to be laws regarding AI. People in the reply said, how can you say that this isn't harming artists when AI has been trained on copied works, unconsenting artists, and have lost thousands of jobs for artists? As a popular small business, you should be taking a stand and not be so supportive of something so terrible. It's also hypocritical of you to denounce dupes and copies of your original work when you are using AI that has copied other artists' original works. People saw her doing the we all use phones with cobalt mine from children thing, where like you really thought it was appropriate to use the G-side happening in the Congo to justify your use of an optional tool that plagiarizes other artists. Truly disgusting. And that, for me, was truly the nail in Selkie's coffin. Like, that is indefensible. She needs a PR team and to stop saying words, because holy shit.
Just touching a couple points there. So at one point, Kimberly said in that kind of back and forth conversation that I'm very open for my love of AI art and I post about it often. People came in to say that they've not been open about it, and I agree, because you would think if they were so proud of it being AI and so open and this was a rebellion, they would have made it very clear. They would have promoted it as an AI collection. It would be in the description on the website, which at the time of filming this anyways, it is not. And they would have advertised it as such instead of people having to ask for that information. And I think it would have been stupid to lie about it being AI, because it's very obvious. It's pretty easy when you look up close at AI images to detect that it's AI, especially with things like the amount of toes and fingers. AI has a really hard time with like hands. So the amount of toes being wrong on one of the dogs and like having multiple eyes and stuff like that, like it just, if they lied about it being AI, it would have been really easy to find that out. And then I also found it really frustrating the way that she just kept saying like, I disagree, but no one said like agree or disagree. Like she was just saying, I disagree and I'm a woman. I disagree. I'm a woman-owned business. Okay, and give us more. And I find like, again, the I disagree point really frustrating, because a lot of what people were saying were not opinions, and you don't just get to disagree with facts. I don't know, maybe I'm just too literal of a person, but for me, if someone says like, this harms artists, here's XYZ reason why, and that is proven fact, to just be like, well, I disagree with that. Okay, you can disagree, technically you can say that, but it's not even really a matter of opinion when it is factually, like there's facts and evidence to back up the harm that AI does to artists. So needless to say, I find Kimberly, the owner's responses, so lame, but honestly, not that surprising given the whole thing that's going on. And also, in my opinion, it comes off a little bit greedy, just because they charge so much for their dresses that not paying an artist to make the collection just seems money hungry and like they're trying to cut cost wherever they can. And according to the people on Twitter, Selkie has been quickly deleting all the comments. So someone here wrote, the speed of which Selkie, the dress and gown brand, is deleting comments calling her out for using AI to design the luxury gown she's selling needs to be studied, because I'm actively watching the comment numbers go from 50 to 4 in a matter of seconds. So again, if you're standing by what you're doing and you think you're so right, why would you need to then delete the comments? Typically when people are deleting comments, it's because they're afraid that other people will see it and start to agree. And I'm also just going to read a few of the comments on the post. So this was the initial post by Selkie of the Valentine's Day collection, and then this is sort of what they commented after the person who asked, is this AI? And they said that it was. It says, the topic of AI art continues to be a polarizing one that some artists are for and others are against. Our founder is an artist herself and has utilized many different techniques in Selkie designs over the years. She is a watercolor painter, illustrator, graphic designer, and more. As an artist who enjoys technology and seeing AI already being used by other brands in different ways, it felt important to learn this new medium and how it may or may not work for Selkie as a brand and herself as an artist. Though the conversation around AI is constantly evolving, even from when this collection was designed a year ago, this is part of discovery, growth, and making sure that if this is the future of fashion, Selkie is ahead of the curve, not behind it. We are eager to see how this collection is received, and we will utilize customer feedback from this collection in determining how we may or may not utilize AI in the future. So basically what they're saying is other brands are doing it, we don't want to be left behind, so we're hopping on the bandwagon too. If it sells, it sells. If it doesn't, obviously money talks, so they probably would not be continuing with that, or they'll be more deceitful in lying about it. And here are some of the comments of people just being extremely dissatisfied. Here's one, for example. It says, all the mediums you listed have one thing in common: humans communicating an idea. Telling a program to create an image is not an artistic medium. It's outsourcing human creativity and accepting whatever a machine feeds back. An artist did not create that. They were fed that image by a program. Art is meant to convey something, and images made by a machine have nothing to convey. I love Selkie and have loved watching the brand's growth over the years, but today has me doubting if I want to continue doing so. And here's another comment. I'm just of the mindset that a brand with this price point would be able to pay actual artists for work, and for a brand that I thought prides itself on its inclusivity, this seems like a slap in the face. Contracting an artist to design graphics for this collection could have paid their bills and been an amazing opportunity for their art to be shown. I don't know if this was done to cut corners on cost or because you genuinely don't care about artists, but either way, this is disappointing. On top of everything, I'm concerned Selkie continues to defend this design with quality issues in the actual pattern. I love this brand and have always loved your prints and haven't noticed mistakes before, but there's some very obvious quality issues with this one. And that's another point too. If you're gonna do that, at least make sure the pattern is good. And someone else on Twitter said they're still on Selkie's email list, and interestingly, they've sent a handful of emails about the current collection since the controversy, and no mention of AI was made in those emails either. And overall, I've seen some other comments from people about Selkie's just general like cheapness in the materials they use. They do use polyester, which I mean, polyester can range from better quality and worse quality, much like anything. In general, they wouldn't be able to achieve these type of dresses without using polyester, but I will say they're manufactured in China, which again, there's good factories and bad factories in China, much like anywhere, but in general, it is a lot cheaper to manufacture in China, and they've been receiving some feedback for quite a while as well that the cheaper manufacturing costs with cheaper materials and being manufactured in a cheaper place, the savings on that are never passed down to the customer. They still charge an exorbitant amount of money for their designs. So on top of all of that, AI being thrown into their design process as well, just again, reads as really greedy, comes off as money hungry, and like they're doing anything to save a buck, but they're still charging the same amount. In conclusion, this is just really disappointing, especially from a brand who could afford to pay an actual artist for their work. It'd be disappointing regardless, but coming from such an expensive high-end brand, it's even more disappointing to see that they don't want to pay an artist, that they don't see the issue in using stolen artwork essentially, or the quality issues in the print that they designed. And personally, my opinion on AI is I don't think it's the worst thing ever, but I definitely think the issue comes in when you are charging for those designs. You are then profiting off of stolen work. I think using AI for your own stuff, for instance, my boyfriend uses it sometimes for his D&D campaigns, that stays between them. He's not selling those characters and the artwork that they create. For something like that, it makes sense. But if you're going to be profiting off of it, especially as a company as big and profitable as Selkie, it seems insane. And like other people said, doubling and tripling down when people have been so upset about it is insane to me. I get that admitting you're wrong sometimes can be difficult, but I think that they would have benefited a lot from just saying, sorry, we won't do it again. And just speaking generally here, Selkie and Kimberly's responses were very frustrating to me, especially the whole I disagree and then just going on about being a woman business. Definitely left a sour taste in my mouth, but judging by the comments that have not yet been deleted, a lot of people agree with that. Let me know what you thought of this down below, and if you have a problem with AI art, especially in something like this where it's being sold for $500. And with that being said, I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.